So far we have done Wonderkid 11 for £5 million, Wonderkid 11 for £10 million. Now let's do £20 million. Let's give ourselves a little bit more of a budget. Let's go for those little extra players that we possibly couldn't have gone for in the previous videos. So strap yourselves in. We're going to try and buy a full Wonderkid 11 for £20 million. I know how much you like these videos. If you want to see me go for a £50 million one and just blow as much money as we possibly can, have a little bit of fun with it, then let me know down in the comments and smash the like button. Let's say 500 likes and I'll do a £50 million one, because I actually quite enjoy searching for all these Wonder Kids and trying to build a team with them. Also, if you want to watch me wrestle, I had my last wrestling match, which you can now watch for free on YouTube, on the Reach Wrestling YouTube channel. The link is down in the description. I face that bloody cameraman Timmy again. Have a look if you enjoy some wrestling, or you just want to see what I look like without a hat on and in a leotard. So the rules are simple. We get £20 million to build ourselves a Wonderkid 11. They have to be at the potential range of 160 or above, and we're not allowed to use any additional clauses which will reduce the cost of the fixed price down. It has to be the fixed price only. No additional 50% percentage of next sale clause. None of that. It's just the transfer money only. So I'm allowed to pick whatever formation I would like. I'm going to go straight for a guy who I know can cost quite a little, and I actually am quite curious to see what he is like at his maximum. Remember, at the end of this video, we're also going to have a look at the team set to their maximum potentials, whatever they basically are. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Stick around to the end and you get to see all of the players that we finally choose at the maximum. But it's a journey on how we get there. So let's have a look. Brackets is 170 potential range, and I know for a fact it doesn't cost too much, so let's try £1 million to begin with. 2.4, right, well I can't get rid of the friendly, we're just gonna have to deal with that. What about 1.9? 1.9 is acceptable, that's okay, so that's good. Let's slot him straight into the team. He can play centre midfield right there. Let's go for that. Now, I want to get the fullbacks in early, because we know how difficult the fullbacks can play. And in the £5 million video, I had to ignore the fullbacks. Let's try Luca Nets then. People have been telling me he's actually cheap. I didn't realise he was this cheap. So let's see, so he is good. Let's try then, £1.5 million. Yes, accepted. Luca Nets is 170 potential range again, 270s so far. 1.5 million, that gives us a total of £3.4 million. Right, let's try that right back position then. Let's try and get, like I said, the fullbacks in early. Jack Scott plays for Wolves. Now, I think this guy is 160, maybe 170. I think it's 160 to be fair. 7.7 million. If it's more than 2.5, yeah. Right, we're going to have to ignore this then. Let's go. So when I did the Wonderkid Factory, there was a right back in that team. Now, Asaya Grande has a potential range of 160, but I'm not sure how much he costs, because we never actually really looked at the cost of these players. Right, so that's £5 million to start off with. I think we can get this guy for quite cheap. £3 million? £3 million. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but we can cut costs later on. Right back is the hardest position. Let's stick with that. So let's go for a player who I know I can get for a good cost. Yes, it's Matthias Reza, one of the most famous Wonder Kids on the game so far. Surprisingly, we haven't actually got him yet in one of these videos. Now, he has the potential range of 170, and I think you can get him for just over 2 million. So let's try 2.1. 2.1 is actually accepted. I might have been able to get him for £2 million, but extra 100k. That's not bad whatsoever. That brings our total to £8.5 million already. So it's quite expensive. We've got 3 or 4 players there already for 8.5 million. Still got a little bit left. So his strike partner, let's try a little bit closer to home, Liam Delap. Now, people have been going on about Liam Delap, how talented he is. He was also featured in the tier list, and people were quite surprised that he was in there compared. Whoa, right. Man, 120, are they on drugs? £124 million. I really don't rate Liam Delap at all. Nope, definitely not for me. Okay, well, I also did a Wonderkid Factory on Valencia. I know they've got quite a few really good players. Now, this guy I think is 160 potential range again. Let's try and find out. So £2.2 million. That's not bad at all. There is somebody else I've got in mind though. if I am correct, this guy was really cheap last year. He has an estimated value of 31k. Obviously, he plays in 2 natural positions, or you can play on the left-hand side. I think striker is his best role, though. And I think... I mean, what was that? £2.2 million. So if we can maybe beat that or get close to it, I'm actually happy with it. So, I mean, let's say 2.4 million. 2.4 million. I mean, there's only an extra 200k there. There's a difference between Lazaro and Andres Garcia, and Lazaro has a higher potential range. So let's go with Lazaro instead. £2.4 million. That totals to 10.9 million at this stage. Let's aim for those wings then. We've got this attacking right midfielder, Zito, who... He's giving me a funny look. That looks like... It definitely looks like a generated face that you'd find on FIFA. He is a cheap value, but I wonder if he's going to be cheap to buy. £3 million. That's actually quite cheap, to be fair. £2 million, and it's accepted. Now, there is a Brazilian counterpart, however, other than Zito, and it's this guy. Now, Manchester City has actually bought this guy in real life, and I remember somebody telling me in a comment section of a video that you can get this man for around about the same price as Zito. So if Zito was 2 million, let's try £1 million here. 4.8. If I can get it under 3 million, 2.9, so it's 900k more. But that means if we cancel out Zito, bring in Kaiki, we know that we can save 900k if we get to the end and we're struggling for some money. So I'm happy yet again to go for the more expensive player here. We got £20 million on our budget. Let's go for Kaiki. So let's try a centre midfielder then. We got Lewis Bate here, who I think is a Chelsea graduate with 160 potential range. Let's take off the next sale. Nope, £1 million. 49 million. I was going to say, if it's anything near kind of £2 million, we'll be laughing. I expect it to be closer to the £2 million than the £50 million that Chelsea are wanting here. That is absolute daylight robbery from you, Chelsea. So we're going to take our services elsewhere, take our money elsewhere. I'm going to take it to Argentina. Carlos Alcaraz, Racing Club. Usually you can get some quite cheap players from this team. Let's see, £6 million. So that's going to be quite expensive. 2.5, 4 million. I think there's better options. I know there's a guy that I can roughly get for like less than $1 million, so I don't really want to go with like 4.3 million. My last try before we go for my guaranteed pick, I'm going to go for Sibet Mansvet. Now, I bought this guy on my Youth to Gold save, but I know his price probably has changed since. I think he's potential range of 160, so let's see how much he is costing. Again, it's just slightly more expensive than what I anticipated. 3.6. I'm not willing to go for that. So I'm going to go for my my guarantee, and this is the reason why I was happy to go for those more expensive picks. If I can just remember how to spell his name. 16 years of age, he's Polish, and he has potential range of 160. He is valued at 8k at the start of the game, and I know you can get him for rather cheap, so let's start off 250. 1.1. Okay, I reckon then if we drop down to 750, that's probably where, yeah, 750 is acceptable offer. So that saved us quite a lot of money, because if we've got £20 million with 11 players, it's about 1.9-ish, 1.8 to 1.9 million pound each. That's saving us a bunch of money. So those earlier picks where we went a little bit more expensive, we can afford to do that now. And that actually brings our total to 14.5 million pound. So we've got 5.5 million pound left for about 4 players. That should be okay. So we got both of our centre midfielders in there, but we haven't got any centre backs yet. We got Ravo Tagir, who is a Turkish youngster who I think is quite good on this game. Again, 160 maybe potential range. Never seen the price of him, to be honest. It worries me that he's already 550k. Yeah, 15 million pound. That's not good. What about then a guy who I used last year? Don't know what he's like this year. I think he's still in the potential range. I know he's in potential range. Again, we're going to Racing Club, Elias Machuca. Let's see if he's still around about the same price as what he was. Again, that's way too high. I thought that would be, it used to be like £2 million. I'm trying to think. Mattia Vitti. I think he is an Italian. There we go. Empoli. He is 165k, 16 years of age. I wonder if he's going to be, yeah. So if we got 2.5 million and a bit extra, we still need to go a little bit lower than that, I'm thinking. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Keep that in mind before we go any further. But I got a feeling There's a Leicester guy, there he is, who is out of contract. These are really good at approach to sign, same as like Dane Scarlett, Alfie Devine, all these players who have youth contracts in the UK. For some reason, you can always pick them up for like less than $1 million. So let's see, yes, here we go. 700, bit of bargaining here, come on. 750. 800, right, we finally got them down to 800k. So just over £15 million spent already. Let's try another youngster that we found from those videos. Christian Mascara. No, that's not. That's a different Christian Mascara. Now he's worth 185k. We've seen what this guy looks like on a video. Phenomenal player, but with a phenomenal price tag. Has a minimum fee release clause 27 million. By the way, if you do ever manage to pick this guy up, insane libero, but not for me today. Let's try then. We're sticking with the same league, sticking with the same format of going for these Athletic Bilbao players from the Wonderkid factories. Now again, 160 potential range. What are they saying for this? 2.6, good. So I reckon we could knock him down to 1.5, because that's roughly about halfway. 1.5, that's good. So that's £16.9 million that we have spent, and we've got 3 players left. So I've just looked back, it is actually 2 players that we need now. We need a left midfielder and we need a goalkeeper. We've got our centre backs sorted. This is one of them. He might play as a left back predominantly, but he is a natural centre back. So that's where we are going to use him. So let's try and find 2 more players then. So I'm going to stick with the thinking of this Athletic Bilbao C team. Kepa Uriarte. I feel sorry for Kepa. The reason why he is playing in the Bilbao C team alongside Nico Serrano in the same position. He's never going to get a game, is he? Over my boy Nico Serrano. So let's try and give him a game here. He has a potential range of 160. Let's see how cheap we can get him. 3.3 there. We can afford to go a little bit below 2. 1.7 maybe. 1.7's been accepted. That's good because I know exactly who we are going to go for now. So we have, let me calculate, that's 18.6 million pound we have left, and that leaves just one position for one man who I know we can get for roughly 1 million pound, and that man is the English talisman in goal, Charlie bloody Setford. Yes, Charlie Setford, let's go. 1.2 million. Let's round it up to 1 million pound. Yes, 20 million pound budget. Done. That is 19.6 million pound in total. We didn't actually struggle too bad. I'm happy with that. Let's take a look at the side. So here is all of the players set to their maximum potential as their current ability. And we're going to go through them one by one. Let's start off then with Charlie Setford. As we can see here, this is what he is like at its maximum 160, the 16-year-old. Some really good attributes in the technicals, really good attributes in the mentals. He's 6'2" even at the start of the game. So for £1 million, you got yourself a very solid goalkeeper for a long period of time, and you'll definitely make money on him. Let's move on to the next one then. So if we go to our right back first, Isaiah Grande, solid right back, by the way. Absolutely solid right back. Let's see, how much did we pick him up for? £3 million. That's not bad, really, is it, for £3 million? He has a good potential range. There are some weaknesses, like strength might be slightly worrying, but again, this is big when they're set to their maximum. Sometimes the attribute distribution works in your favor, sometimes it does not. Yours might be very different to that. This is just an example, because obviously with potential ranges, a lot of their attributes are not set in stone. They're flexible, variable attributes. So I think that's still a very good right back. I've been needing him my journeyman save. With Fiorentina, twitch.tv/MegaLukeGaming. Make sure you come across on Twitch. Let's move on then. Let's go left back next, shall we? Luca Netz, solid player. Wow, yes, solid player. I can't believe I've never actually got Luca Netz before and set him to his maximum. That's a mistake on my part, because he is phenomenal. He is absolutely phenomenal. Great physicals, 17s there for days. Love to see that. Great mental attributes, and the technicals, really good. Happy with that. Luca Netz, great suggestion by you, chap. So let's look at this centre-back partnership then, which I don't think is really going to be a good centre-back partnership, but we'll go on with it. This is more of a left-back, Eneko Clemente. Yes, this is set to 160. It doesn't look like it, but he is set to 160. Attribute distribution again is slightly off. If you're looking at a centre-back, maybe not go for this guy. If you're looking for a left-back, then potentially it's up to you. There are some glaring weaknesses, but there are also some solid parts with this man. And for the money that you're going to pay, it's not too bad. His centre-back partner though, Ben Nelson, who is Scottish, by the way, so Scottish fans. You have a centre-back in both videos from the last 2 videos that we've done on these. Ben Nelson's slightly better for the centre-back role. It's actually really good. 6'1", he has 19 jump in reach, he has good heading, marking needs to be slightly higher, tackling needs to be slightly higher, but look at those mental attributes. Absolutely solid. Really well-rounded player. Ben Nelson, really strong as well, great strength, good acceleration, good balance. I'm actually a big fan of this, and for like, what, 750 or 800k that we picked him up for, really good. 16-year-old, remember the name. So let's take a look then. Kepa Uriarte, 1.7 million pound. Okay, yeah, well worth it. So 18 million pound. This is the guy that I said is like underneath Nico Serrano. Now, Nico Serrano is better than this. He has a potential range of 180 and his technicals are fantastic. This guy's just underneath. So if you cannot get Nico Serrano and you're on a bit more of a tighter budget, why not go for this guy? Again, he is Spanish, again from Athletic Bilbao C team. You can pick him up for a rather cheap cost, and this guy's actually really good. Technically, he is fantastic on that left-hand side as a winger. Great dribbling, great crossing, good finishing, great fast touch. He can hit a long shot, he can pass the ball, he has great tackling. The attribute distribution is way off on that part, but still, technique is great. The mental attributes are good also. Solid player. We move on. Let's take a look at the right midfielder then. Now, Manchester City's new player that we have coming in at this season, or is he back? Yeah, so he will be 18 at the end of this season, so he would join Manchester City in real life. I mean, if he turns anything like this in game relating to real life, Manchester City are going to be over the moon with that. He's left-footed, so he's more of an inside forward, an inverted winger, if you will. I think he has all the perfect attributes for this, and this might be the best attribute distribution we've seen so far, despite having 16 heading, 13 marking, and 14 tackling. His potential range is only 170, so this looks a lot higher than what I anticipated. If you had a few of that tackling, marking, long throws, maybe even the heading in things like composure, flair, maybe even aggression, I mean, and pace as well, this guy would be phenomenal. Like, really solid player, but he still looks great even if he is like this for you. At 5'8", a nice little tricky winger. Kaiki is the name we might be talking about in a few years' time in a Manchester City shirt. Let's take a look at the centre midfielders that we opted to choose for them. Burak Yilmaz was my first choice on the list, and this is the reason why. Now, he might not have the best physical attributes, and I kind of knew that, having seen this guy at his maximum before, but what he does have is probably one of the best technical attributes on the game. He is absolutely world class for technical attributes, and nobody can deny that. If you're playing him in behind the striker, this is exactly what you want to see. The 18 crossing is slightly overkill for somebody who might not be in crossing positions, but that is maybe the reason why, if you had this player, you get him to move into the channels as a player trait. You maybe get him to stay wider wherever you were, because if you can whip a ball in with 18 crossing and 20 technique, that's like David Beckham levels of crossing coming into the box there. So if you have somebody who is half decent in the air or has good movement as a striker, then this guy's going to bag you so many assists. This Turkish player, who I think will have a big future, because I've heard a lot of Turkish people speak to me in the comments about this man. They rate him very highly. He is such a good set piece taker as well. 19 free kick taken, 15 for corners, 17 for penalty taken. He is so good technically, it is ridiculous. Even the mental attributes where you need him, composure, decision making, he's got that. He also has 15 teamwork and 18 vision. He can pick out a pass, let me tell you that. A little bit more on the flair, a little bit more in the anticipation, and he'll be fantastic. But he is still a very, very solid pick. And for what we spent for him, £1.9 million, world class for that money. And alongside him then we have Kasper Kozlowski. Now, as a more reserved player compared to the last pick, I think this guy is really good. For the money as well that we spent, around about 700k, whatever it was, better physicals, I'd say better mentals as well, and more well-rounded technicals for a solid centre midfielder. A box-to-box, a good old centre midfielder. He is quite good going forward. He has 14 finishing, but he doesn't have the style and flair that Burak Yilmaz had with the free kick taken or the technique and stuff like that. He's just solid, isn't he? I mean, 17 long shots, he can still hit them. Don't get me wrong, he will still hit them. And if he does turn out like this on your save, give him some decent player traits to suit that. I'm telling you now, he will score you some goals. And then, of course, the strikers. So let's take a look at Lazaro from Flamengo. He is, of course, amazing. Everybody knows how good he was last year. This year, we're not disappointed yet again. This is probably the best player that we have seen so far on this list, in this team. He is absolutely fantastic. The perfect attribute distribution in my opinion. People were asking me to do Wonderkid spotlights on him all year round. We didn't do it, mainly because we did it last year. We made a big focus on Lazaro last year, and my word, I mean, I even had him in the save I did, I think, with Fire Nord, and he was still really good in that too. Great physical attributes, the 17s there, and acceleration, agility, and for pace. He's lightning quick, he's really good on the turn, it's going to be really tricky when he gets the ball, so player traits like runs the ball often, takes players on, knocks ball past opponents, those type of things are the things you're going to be looking for. The mental attributes are absolutely phenomenal. 18 composure, 17 anticipation, 17 off the ball, great vision as well, so he can pick a pass out. Not only is he going to be scoring you goals, he's going to be bagging you so many assists. And then of course, let's look at his technicals. The 18 dribbling, again, goes to those physical attributes. He's going to be really tricky on those wings if you decide to play him there, or when he gets the ball as an advance forward and he's on the break, he's going to be so hard to catch up with. Great finishing, great first touch, heading is even there at 16 as well. He can pick a pass like I mentioned, he has 15 passing and he has 18 technique. Place those shots, hits the ball first time, stick those on him, he will score you so many goals. And remember, he was only £2.4 million for that. 2.4. Insane. Right, the last player then on this list, Matthias Arezzo. Of course, we did do a player spotlight on Matthias, and he looked slightly better than this, but this is still great. And this again is attribute distribution. The mental attributes aren't quite as good as what we have seen previously, but the technicals are absolutely amazing. There's one thing that always happens with Arezzo, he always has great heading ability. Now, he might only be 5'10", sometimes I've seen him at 6 foot maximum, but that heading ability is always there. So if he has good off the ball and good heading ability, get those crosses in because he will score you a lot of goals. He has great finishing, good fast touch, great long shots as well. I mean, this guy is such a good striker on the game. We all know it. We've all seen him, probably used him already on this game. Matthias Arezzo is one of the guys that if you have like non-EU rules and you can pick up a foreign player, a Uruguayan player, you just do it because £1 million, or what was he, 1.9 million, something like that, 2.1, and you just bag so many goals, and eventually a big European club will come in for like £40 million and you've made so much money out of him, or you keep him and he just becomes the best striker in the world. It's up to you. But that is our list for today. That is £20 million Wonderkid 11. What did you think of it? Who would you have changed? What's your favourite player on this list? Let me know down in the comments. And remember, 500 likes on the video and we'll do a £50 million one. Really looking forward to doing that one. I'll see you soon on another video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.